Welcome back. In this video tutorial, we would study how to scale viewports in AutoCAD 2027. But before we start with the training, ensure that you open the file annotation.dwg, which I have already provided to you in the resources section of this video. Well, now that the file is open, let's begin with the training. Remember, we are in the Layout 1 tab where we can see our title block. Now inside this block, I want to create a viewport. So first we'll click on Layer Properties and we'll create a layer by the name as Viewport. So I click on Layer Properties and I create a new viewport and give it the name like Viewport and hit enter. Change the color of that layer to any layer of your choice, and here you can see there is one icon for printer. So I'll click on that. This means that layer will not be printable. Then we'll click on this icon, making the viewport layer as the current layer. Then I'll close the layer properties manager. You can see that the viewport layer is now the active layer. Now, in order to create a new viewport, you have to click on the Layout tab. Remember, this tab would only be visible when you are in the Layout view. So I click on the Layout tab, and here you have Layout Viewports. So I want to create a rectangular viewport. So I'll click over here and then I'll click anywhere here and stretch it this way, and it will show me my entire drawing. Remember, this much space is coming because of that title block. So let's just delete this viewport. Come back to our model space. And now the work of this title block is over, so we'll erase it. Now we want to print only this much. Come back to Layout 1, click on the Layout tab, click on Rectangular and make a rectangular viewport like this. Now to bring this in the center, double click inside the viewport, keep the scroll wheel pressed and bring this in the center. Click anywhere outside to deselect it. Now AutoCAD has accommodated that entire huge drawing into this 8.5 by 11 inch paper. But we would like to zoom it still further so that all the dimensions etc. are very clearly visible. So for this we click on the model tab and first we'll delete the old dimensions. They are too tiny, so I delete these old dimensions. Then I activate the dimension layer. Then from the annotation panel, I ensure that the dimension style is training anno. And now I am ready for dimensioning. Before dimensioning, I would like to scale this drawing. Why? Because you have seen in layout, when I click on this, you can see that it is showing you that the custom scale is 0. You can also come to know by clicking on this and looking over here. Same way, if you go in the model tab and you see the scale, it is 1:100. So if I come on to the layout Click on the viewport, change the scale to 1:100. You can see you get a closer view of the document. But still the entire document is not visible. So I again go into the model tab, change the scale to 1:200. But 1:200 scale is not present. So in that case, you can click on custom and you can say add and give a name to the scale, like I'm giving it the name as 1:200, and I want to say one paper unit is equal to 200 drawing units. Click on OK and click on OK. Now when I click on this flyout, I can see 1:200, and I can go into layout 1 also, click on my viewport and change the scale factor to 1:200, and now the entire drawing is visible. Now along with the drawing, I also want the dimensions to be visible. So I click on the model tab, ensure that I am in the dimension layer. In the annotation panel, ensure that I am in the training anno. Then ensure that the scale factor is 1:200. I'll close the dimensions tile manager and then I will select linear dimensioning and I'll click over here, and another point I'll click over here and I'll specify where I want the dimension. So the dimension has come 66 feet 10 inches. Now there are two dimensions, old dimensions left out. I'll just delete them. Same way I'll make a horizontal dimensioning also. Again I select linear dimensioning, one click here and one click here, and I have the linear dimensioning also ready. Now let's go into the layout 1 and see how it looks. So in layout 1 also you can see the dimensions are visible, and the reason being that this viewport is also 1:200 and this viewport is also 1:200, and hence the annotative dimensioning is visible. Now I want to make another viewport over here in layout 1 in which I want to show this conference table along with the dimensions. So how do we do that? So again we click on the layout tab and in the layout viewports I select rectangular and I draw one rectangular viewport like this. Now you can see AutoCAD has accommodated that entire drawing into this viewport, but we want only this much portion visible. So we'll click on the viewport and change the scaling to 1:50. So you can see you get a closer view of the table. But if I want to make it still tinier, I will select 1:60. But you can see 1:60 is not present over here. So let's create one. So I click on custom and I select add and I type 1:60 and I type 1 paper unit is equal to 60 drawing units. OK. Again I click on the viewport and from here I select 1:60 to accommodate the drawing. Now if I want to bring this in the center, I can double click inside this and pan this and bring in the center. If I want still tinier, I can still reduce it to 1:70, but 1:60 is okay. Now I come into my model space and here also I changed the scale to 1:60. So you can see the scale is changed to 1:60. Then I zoom over here, and again in the annotation panel ensure training anno is selected. Then select linear dimensioning, and one from here, one from here, and again linear dimensioning, one over here, one over here. Click over here, and if you want radius, select radius and click over here. Now when you go into layout 1, you can see the dimensions are visible in this 1:60 viewport, as well as the dimensions are visible in this 1:200 viewport. So friends, in this video tutorial, we have seen how to make viewports, how to change the scale, and how to bring the images so that their dimensions are visible on this paper which matches with the size of the printer. I would urge you to practice more of this and try printing different portions of this drawing after dimensioning them and see how it looks while printing. I'll see you again in the next lecture.